it affects, obviously, your emotions are in play. It affects your finances. It can deter your business plan. It can send you off of your track of what you're doing.
Yeah. He's a friend of the friendless. He's the hope to the hopeless. The illest conductor, the best orchestrator, by the far he's the dopest. Created the moon, created the sun by using his vocals. Whenever a problem arises, solved, he's already spoken.
It's season 2, and we are back and ready to bring some more uncharted conversations. I'm Chrissy.
I'm Keisha.
And I'm Ty.
And we are ready to start some conversations. So, Keisha, we know this term. We hear it a lot in everything we do. FOMO. FOMO. Fear of missing out, right? Everybody, I have FOMO. We know because we just had a conversation probably last week on a program that we bought in FOMO because we wanted to run with everybody, and we haven't ever used it. And that is what, a 2-year-old program?
Now, yeah.
And we can go back to one that's 3 years old because we were like, FOMO, we have to have that. We have to do what everyone's doing. But what I want to talk about, Keisha, and I think it's going to be a great conversation, is FOMO and the emotions involved in that decision making and how it really just affects all the other things. Because we know it affects, obviously, your emotions are in play. It affects your finances. It can deter your business plan. It can send you off of your track of what you're doing. So I really wanted steer the conversation that way and just give some underlying things, especially from our experience.
Sure.
And so, FOMO, go ahead.
I was going to say I'll start because I'm the bigger offender.
Offender! Keisha.
I am the offender because I love to make quick decisions and then suffer the consequences later. But I often get FOMO because I don't want to miss out. I want to be first. I want to be the leader. I want to be have the most innovative thing. But I can say from my experience, I'm getting wiser, smarter, and making better financial decisions for our longer term business. I just had some opportunities happen to me last week, which I had big FOMO over because they're big financial commitments and I'm not able to make them at this time because I'm in between blessings. But I can tell you that they are in my future, and everything that I will be working towards financially to get there, to make those decisions, are long-term return on investment decisions that I know I'm planting the seeds for currently.
Yeah, and I think what you said is interesting. I know, because you called me and I knew you were in the FOMO state of mind. I'm like, oh,
but I already
boy.
had a plan, and
yeah, but you have grown because now you recognize, I really want this, and I know this program is for me. I'm just not there yet. Where before, you would do it and call me after the fact and be, oh, by the way, and I'm like, what just happened? We just had a conversation 3 hours ago that we were not going to do that, and now you're like, oh, by the way, guess what I did? And, sometimes it's easier because I can't matrix through the phone and do that. But I think that's a really important thing. You have to just stop. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to be the first to get everything, right?
Right.
And you have to know, timing is everything. And you don't want to make a decision. And I mean, we're talking substantial amount of money that's going to deter you and push you backwards instead of propelling you forward with what you're buying, right?
Right, because this is a hard year lesson of things that we purchased last year that we did not need or use and are still making payments on. And number two, we switched gears and directions because our purpose shifted.
Right.
And some things change for us in a financial situation
Mm-hmm.
that put us in a hardship, but we still had other commitments that we had to do. And life happens, things happen, and we have pushed through. But we also, put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do that. And I don't want to be in that situation ever again. I don't want us to be in
Yeah.
a place where we made commitments to do things that we really had to sacrifice for a period of time, which was unnecessary if we would have just stayed the course.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, and you're gonna roll your head at this, Ty, but we found programs this year to replace the ones that we never used because they're more innovative programs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
And I mean, we're talking a substantial amount of money that we just paid on, and we're like, well, it's not like when you buy clothes or shoes or bags that you could just donate them off to charity or take them to the Goodwill. Like, you have this thing that you're never going to use, and you're just like, what am I going to do with it? Because I found something to replace it already, which was significantly cheaper.
Well, we could use our coffee as an example. We invested in a coffee company.
Yes,
that was a health and wealth company, which we absolutely wanted to be a part of, and then found out that Chrissy is allergic to it, and some of the products had things that she was absolutely not able to take or use, and then put her liver in a bad state of mind because she did use some of the products for a period of time.
And let me clarify, it was not those products that caused that liver issue. It was my body cannot process the stuff I was having. So it's just the ingredients. My body was like, no, I can't have it. In no way are we saying that it was the product that caused that, because we're not. But it was significant. It was almost $1,800 worth of product.
It was a $2,000 investment.
Yeah. $2,000 investment. We used some and gave away some for the $200.
I'm sure.
And then we had $1,800 worth of product left.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
And we have donated every bit of it. Every bit of it we donated.
Wow. Yep. And so we donated it off. Keisha can't drink it either. And we couldn't find a workaround to where my body could tolerate it. And at that point we were like, what are we going to do with it? We put it out, try to resell it and we just weren't getting any takers. And so we said, we're just going to have to donate this off and write this off as
a loss, maybe.
Not even really that, because we went into it with really good intentions, but
it was not for us. It was just not for us.
It just wasn't for us. And, we did not. Well, I will say we had 2 months that we invested in a different product in the company after that, which I could not again take anyways. and so we got that where I couldn't use it. And it's a lot of stuff for Keisha to consume on her own. And so the stuff was just going bad. Wow. Because we weren't able to use it. And at the time it seemed like a great decision. But we broke our rule. Yeah. Because our rule is it's a 24-hour wait. The opportunity comes, and our rule is we wait 24 hours.
We pray over it. We talk about it.
Yep.
And the next day we make a decision.
We talk about it in our FOMO state of mind. And then we pray about it. And then we talk about it the next day, because sometimes you'll see an immediate shift. But sometimes you're in a position where there's no time after the FOMO time to make the decision. And that is a lot of pressure. It's a lot. I mean, you really have to go in knowing I'm just going to sit on this and support the people that asked me to come on here. And I already know I'm not getting anything. They can give the greatest presentation in the world.
Right.
but I already know I'm not getting anything. One, it doesn't align with what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Two, the finances just aren't there. And I think for me, that's where you need to be really truthful with yourself, because, we have pay in 4s, pay in 8s, pay monthly, 2-year contracts. And you don't really think about that. You're like, I can put this on a pay in 6 plan.
Yep, that's
And
yeah.
I pay it in 6. And then all of a sudden you look and you got $800 coming out a month because you have all these pay in whatever plans. And you're
because you think you're only paying like half a month. You know what I mean? Like you're not paying much.
Right. I can
that
get
adds
this
up
for a $200 investment. And then I worry about it the next 4 times I have to pay it.
Yeah.
And that's a thirst trap.
Yep.
So thirst,
because lessons learned this year.
You'll make this, and then you're sitting here going, all right, well, here I am the next month, and I can't pay any of these pay and whatevers because I didn't have the money to do that. And, we're not saying that's what happened in that instance, but you really have to think through things. And I mean, for me, I'm a very analytical person.
Yeah.
Like I'm not Keisha can tell you, I'm not a big FOMO person, because I'm like, my rule for myself is if I want it, I can wait it out for 30 days. Because it's want versus need.
Yeah.
If I need it in 30 days, I'm still going to need it.
Right.
Right. I mean, we're not talking like car repairs or anything like that. This is just stuff you want to purchase. Right. If I forget about it before 30 days, it's a want and I don't really need it. I don't need it.
Right.
If I need it, I have to have it to live.
Right.
Materialistic things, you don't need those to live. You need the basics, right? You need electric, you need gas, you need food, you need water, but you don't need the other things that you get into. So Keisha and I, we were really talking the other day, and we're like, oh my goodness, like all of this stuff. And at the moment, you don't really think about, and Keisha, I want you to chime in on this one. You don't really think about the long-term issues you're going to have if you don't use what you purchased.
Right. Well, that was the first time we did health and wellness, that it was a product. So there's a lot of products that we do use in health and wellness that are tangible products, not food products. And these were food products. So therefore, they had to be sold within a reasonable time. They had to be warehoused. And those are a date-driven product. That was the first time we'd ever done a date-driven product. Some of them had to be refrigerated, some of them not.
Yeah.
So that was it was a hard lesson learned, but it also was in a lot of ways a great experience because we got to see the manufacturing. There was some aspects to the products that we learned about. We learned how to sample with other people, and we learned how to invite other people to presentations that we had never done before. And there was a lot of opportunity in that I learned in business. I think was a great asset, but in the end, it was a financial investment that was not worth our return on investment. And there were lessons learned from making those decisions that could have set us up for success in other areas. So for me, it was a hard financial lesson.
I agree.
I don't mind giving it away. That doesn't hurt my feelings at all, because as long as somebody used it, liked it, loved it, it's not about the money. It's about what time, effort, and lessons did I learn. And I did learn lessons from it. In personal development, in business operations, and also in business relationships. I learned something about all of those things, but most of all, what I learned about was making those decisions based on FOMO, because I did not want to miss out with everybody else, what they were doing. But in the end, it didn't serve me at all. And nor did it make an impact in my business. It cost me time, energy, effort that I could have been focusing on other areas in my business where I already had productivity and revenue. And so for me, it was a hard lesson. Is it the only lesson I'm going to learn? No.
No.
No, because I've spent more money on other things that we've never even cracked the.
We haven't even used the username or password. Like we haven't even logged in for the initial change your password. And I mean, we're talking a couple years on some of these programs.
Yes.
Oh my.
And so there's opportunity here, obviously. But here's what I am going to say. The things that I make quick decisions on for fear of not missing out, I think are the things that I want to be the innovator on.
Mm-hmm.
I like to be the leader at. Doesn't mean I'm the most successful person. Just means that I have it in my arsenal. It's in my tool belt. So if I need it, I have it. Right. So it's no different than a man having lots of tools and then being like, hey, I got that tool. You know, it's the same thing. It's just in a different level, I think. But I like to have my own tools, right? I do like to have my own tools.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like to have to want for things. I want to have my own stuff. So that was a good lesson. I want to talk about this fear of missing out in the sense that you want to participate in things and you want to show up and you want to be your authentic self. But when you get there and you're miserable,
that happens quite a bit.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about all the things that in the past, let's just say 4 years, because it's been about 4 years. We've done a lot of traveling.
Yeah,
we've bought a lot of courses. We've been to a lot of conferences. We've invested in our company. We have got a lot of awards.
Mm-hmm.
We have gotten a lot of recognition. We have done a lot of things in the last 4 years. And I'm grateful. Please don't ever think that I am not grateful, because number one, I always will invest in myself and personal development first. I will put my money where my mouth is.
Yeah.
And I show up with my money. So, and I love serving. And that's the one thing that I'm not afraid of doing. I will be the first to say I will serve. So
that's true.
Yes, definitely. I will show up for people, I will support, and I will serve. And I feel like that has been really important to me in our journey in this as well. But fear of missing out, I don't want to miss out. I want to show up.
Yeah, I think you have to know the difference of the fear of missing out or showing up in support. I know for me, one of the things is we really learned that it's so easy to get sidetracked by opportunities that take you away from your own progress, either in yourself or your business, because we've talked about this. We have derailed our business more by FOMO
helping other people,
than actually showing up in our business. So, we're really cheating ourselves because we're not investing in our own stuff. Because we're just spreading ourselves thin everywhere else, and then we don't have anything left for our own stuff, and so that's the progression I've seen. So there are times when I'm a quick decision maker if the circumstance deems it, but as far as opportunities, I'm not a quick decision maker like Keisha when it comes like for our business, right? I'm not. And people that know us as business people, they know that about us.
Right.
That I'm always like, let's step back and look at it, because I'm a long-term vision person. Like, I can see what you're saying, and in my mind, and Keisha knows because she's worked with me before.
Correct.
And I was the same way at work. Like, give me the scenario. I'm going to vision it out in my mind with all these possibilities that could happen. And then I'm going to make my decision.
Right.
But I'm going to long-term vision it to see, does this align with our company today? But not 6 months down the road?
Which is a great thing.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And for me, if I only see it being used on that day, It's not worth it.
Right.
It's not worth it. Because for me, we try to integrate all kinds of things into our business, right? You know, people know we always say we hold a lot of pots and pans because we always got something going on the fryer, right? And that's okay. But our biggest focus is obviously our publishing company.
Yeah.
You know, this podcast spurned from the publishing company. It started from a conversation with you about your book and between you and Keisha. And then we birthed this podcast together. And I think that's a beautiful thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
But you have to be so realistic with yourself, because if you're only thinking about how it helps me today,
you're in trouble.
One, you don't have a vision plan for your business, right? Like, we know in year 2027, this is what we want to do. Now, granted, we still have to build the marketing plan, and we're always doing that. You know, we have a mentor that helps us with that, and she's amazing, and she really just asks us questions like, have you guys thought about it this way? And it's like, oh, no, we didn't do that. And I feel like when you're sitting in these FOMO opportunities, you forget all about these plans that you've made, right?
Yeah.
Like, but this doesn't even align up with what I want to do in the next 3 years. And for me, I always try to remember that you'll always hear Keisha and I talk about an anointed no.
Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Keisha? An anointed no.
Absolutely.
And that is a capital N, a capital O, and nothing. Like, it's big, bold letters.
Point.
Right.
That's
Underscored, underlined, super italicized. Like,
ain't gonna happen today.
Right. But we learned that, like, because if you don't know where your no boundaries are, you'll always say yes to a FOMO. You'll always say
yes.
yes.
But I think we've really gotten better over the years, because we used to always say yes and then figure it out. And then we did learn about our anointed no, and really establishing
shirts that say that.
Yes, and establishing our boundaries and really staying in our own lane. Yeah. And focusing on our own business. And those were, you know, some bumpy roads, but also, you know, I think it's because we've evolved over time, and, you know, now we are way more focused on our own business than what everybody else is doing. I could really, not that I don't care what other people are doing. I care, and I support, and I am intentional. But I also know that our stuff is equally important, and our business is something that we have to focus on for the long term. And if we deter ourselves from our own business, we won't have one in the future.
Right.
Right. Like, I think we have learned that, because we've had this conversation amongst ourselves and with other people, that every time you give a yes, it takes a piece of you and essentially a piece of your business. And you can't keep saying so many yeses that you don't even have room for a no.
Right.
I mean, you have to think about that. If you don't have room for a no, you don't have any time to do anything, because you're so busy doing everything. Right. And I used to be this person. Keisha could tell you I was the queen of overscheduling myself. Like, I had to fit it all in. And then you run into, it's partially people pleasing, which is a trauma response, which that's a whole nother podcast issue. People don't realize that's actually a trauma response. And, you know, people disappointed.
Overload, and then you can't, even function in your own daily life because you've put yourself under so much pressure. And then you get yourself sick, because then it takes weeks for you to get back on your feet.
Absolutely.
And it's a vicious cycle.
And you get mentally exhausted. I mean, for me, the mental exhaustion is the worst.
Yeah.
Physically, I can go to sleep. My body can repair itself during that time. Emotionally, I don't really have a lot of that problem, because I don't fall into the emotional realm of decision making and all that. But for me, it's the mental exhaustion. And I think a lot of that is because I'm a creative. And when my brain has to shut down, I don't handle that well when I have to step away for extended periods of time, because I'm mentally exhausted. And that is some of that comes from overscheduling. You're trying to fit everything in. And a lot of times that came because I gave too many yeses.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, oh, yeah, I got a 3-hour window here. I can fit 2 things in a 3-hour window. I only need a 20-minute break. That's enough to go to the bathroom, recharge, get myself some food. I'm ready to roll. On we go again. And then it was like, Keisha's like, well, let me see your schedule. And I mean, like, I write small. And in this wee little block, like, you couldn't even see the lines of the block because I had so much stuff jam-packed in there. And she said, well, what are you doing for yourself? I was like, well, can't you read? I'm doing all of this stuff. But it wasn't anything for myself. It was obligations that I gave out.
Right.
Yes.
Because I don't want to see people lose. Like, I want to see you win. And if there's something I can do to help you, then I'm going to do it.
Of course.
Even that comes with a whole nother attachment to itself.
Right. But when we started focusing on time management and your health and life balance, that's when you really had an eye opener. Because I said, here's exactly what's going to happen. I'm putting you in timeout. And the reason why I say that I'm putting you in timeout, not for discipline, for time management, because she cannot function everything of the day and carry that load on a sustainability for a long period of time.
Right.
And her brain doesn't work the same way. I'm very regimented. I time block every single day of the week because I know exactly where my time blocks are. And I'm optimal because I am an early morning person. I am not a late night person. I go to bed early. I get up early. I'm like a regimented machine. But I can tell you I'm the most optimal early in the morning. And between 6 a.m. and 12, I've gotten 90% of my stuff done. So in the afternoon, I have some free time. I can walk my dog, take a walk, do whatever I need to do. And in the evening time, I don't have to worry about that burnout. Where before I worked a full-time job, did a full-time job after and before work, and had to fit in my dog and family, which was not optimal in any way. And then I was angry because I never had any time to myself. And so when I started just taking a step back and going, okay, my health is way more important. So here's what I'm going to do. And I looked at Christy and I said, we are not doing this. We're in 2025. We're not doing this anymore. And her health really declined in 2025. Yeah. Because she literally ran herself to death.
Yeah.
And when you're down, you're down.
And I was down.
Yes, you were.
I mean, I had to step away from the business for over 7 months.
Yeah, it's hard.
And I handle a lot of the upfront parts of the business. And it was detrimental. And I had done it to myself.
Well,
that's the hard part. That's the hard pill you have to swallow. When you do it
as
yourself.
A newcomer to this company, I don't know where you guys find downtime to do anything, because it's constantly like most people focus maybe on like one thing or two things, and you guys have this this plan to do like all of them. Like you guys want to do.
They're always moving parts. And
all these moving parts. I've never seen anything like it in my life. I'm like, where are you guys? It's like every week. It's like, what are you guys up to this week?
Right, but we're a well-oiled machine.
No, but you guys know what you're doing. You know what I mean? It's so cool to see. What's next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we had to step back and look. Like Keisha said, she is a morning person.
Yeah.
She's like a machine, right? I'm the night owl.
Yeah, I'm a night owl.
I could literally go till 3 o'clock in the morning working. And I'm the type, like I tell Keisha, when I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
Like it's going to happen. It's going to get done. I'm in that zone. I'm doing that. But I got to be in that zone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's hard.
Me too.
But then we sat back and realized because you have to have hard conversations with yourself and with your business partners.
Yeah.
and you really
Well,
like
we know
what
each of our weaknesses, and
Yeah.
we know who's better at that. And we say, all right, here's exactly some of the things that we do. I got 20% today. That means you're going to have to pull 80. You
Yeah.
got 80 today? Because I don't think I can pull more than 20. And
Right.
she'll go, I'll have 80 today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Mhm.
tomorrow
and
I
then,
might have 10.
Yeah,
Right, I
exactly.
did 80 today.
but
Right.
here's the thing. We know that we can do it. We know that
Right.
we can do it. And I don't ever have a problem pulling the weight. I really don't.
Right.
Because
It's
there's
not
days
about
when
that.
I don't have that capacity. And
Yeah.
I'm like, peace out, sister. I can't do it today. I just can't do it today.
It's hard
And
doing
then-
it every day.
Well, and
Every
it's not
single
even
day.
that, but you have to remember this. We carry the load for more than just ourselves.
Right.
Right.
That's the difference maker.
Not everybody realizes the load we carry.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, development wise, long term, short term, any of those
Mhm.
things. And even though we're individuals, but we are collective together.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes everybody in this well oiled machine to keep it rolling.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And we all have to be at our best. We're not always at our best when we're trying to do big things, right?
Mhm.
And I say this a lot, to Chrissy because I'm more of the hype girl. Like, I whoop, 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 let's go, let's go. But I also know I have to take care of my mental health. I
Mhm.
have to be in the right mental space to do it for a long period of time. There's times when she can do long periods of time doing editing, book work, like
Mhm.
all the things. And I don't have that capacity because I already spent all of that in my
Right.
first 8 hours.
Right.
And I
Exactly.
can't do 8 more, So that's the great thing about the yin and the yang, the balance.
Mhm.
And that's also the great thing about, I have to be in the mindset. I have to work myself up to be in that, knowing that I have blocked out 4
Mhm.
days, like this weekend, blocked out 72 hours to do long hours of podcasting.
Right.
And I had to prepare myself for it all week last week to do this because
And I-
Yeah. Sure.
And
you
I can-
have to be in the you have to be in the mindset to do
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
And I can flip it on a dime.
Right.
Be like,
But I don't
this.
have that capacity.
And so I'm like, I got it. I can flip,
Mhm.
my brain just fires that way. It's
You
like,
do.
oh,
You're quick.
okay, here. All right. Someone's talking about this. We're here. But we really just had to sit and have conversations. And this is what makes Keisha and I
Right.
good together, because I respect everything she does as an
Mhm.
individual. And I know where her powerhouse comes in for the business.
Right.
I don't expect her to do things she's not good at. Now I may say, hey, I've got it all done. I've been in it so long, I need a second set of eyes.
Right.
What kind of time frame? It's probably going to take you, I don't know, maybe an hour. I'll tell you which ones to really highlight and look at. Because,
Mhm.
a lot of times when you're in it so long, you see what you wanted to
Oh,
say.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it usually 9 times out of 10 doesn't even say that. And so that's what I'll tell her. I know this is not your wheelhouse,
Right.
but I need another set of eyes.
Sometimes you need that.
And
Yeah,
so
it
people
does make a
always
difference.
laugh. Like the biggest things people always laugh about this is when it comes to networking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like networking.
Right.
I don't like it. Keisha knows I don't like it. Keisha's a she's a
Mhm.
powerhouse. Now, why, with the two of us, why, Ty, would I go to a networking event when I have the powerhouse networking as my business partner?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't I send her?
Right.
It's like people say, well, yeah, but that's a lot of stuff she has to do on the back end. But that's where she excels.
Exactly.
Why am I going to open the fence door and walk into her playground when I don't even, have any care at all to do any of that
Exactly.
stuff? Because I'm over here in my own playpen.
Yeah, if you don't want-
you know what?
Yeah.
And so I think that's where people go wrong. They see all this as FOMO, like, oh, there's this networking event. There's going to be 500 people. I got to go. But if you don't
Right.
like networking, there
Why-
could be 1,000 people there.
Exactly.
You don't like it. So you're going to give that vibe off when you come in the door and you may get one person to talk to you.
As that person. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, you have to know these things about it. So I don't fret. I'm like, hey, Keisha, there's a networking event. they're asking someone from our company to go.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about going? Now,
Yeah.
if she can't go, I'll go.
Right.
But we both know if there's book people there, those are my people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
I just gravitate that way. Like, oh,
Mhm.
we're going to talk about books. Like, I love talking about books or even like anime and that.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
But we also know what each of us like
Mm-hmm.
and what we don't like. And if the conversation goes there, it's switcheroo, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
She's like, oh, wait, that's Chrissy's realm. Let me get Chrissy over here. She'll talk to you about that. But you have to do that. And so I think when you start looking at things that way,
Yeah.
you really tame your FOMO nature and tendencies because you're like, well, what? I don't even necessarily like this stuff.
Right.
I'm not saying that it's a bad product or a bad program or anything.
It's not your thing.
But if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. You're not going to
No.
talk yourself into it being your thing by purchasing it we have stuff
Yeah.
that we were like, I don't even know why we did it. We never even used it.
I don't think you'll be as productive either. You won't want to, I mean,
No.
you don't want to be there anyways. So
Right.
you're not going to do nothing.
Because here's the thing, and Keisha can tell us, you buy a program 3 years ago, right? So you buy a program and generally there are Zooms or little meetups or everything to teach you about the product and everything you're doing. And so now you're 3 years in the future logging into this thing that you bought 3 years ago.
Mhm.
And guess what's not there? There's no Zoom meetings. You have no
training.
place to go. And so now you are self-training yourself on a program
Oh, wow.
because you're like, you know what? I think maybe I can use it now. Well, you really should have used it 3 years ago when
Yeah.
you bought it if it was essential to what you're doing.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, by making those quick FOMO decisions like that. And sometimes you have to make quick decisions.
Mhm.
I'm not disputing that at all. But that's where Keisha and I, like, it's a dual decision. Like, if it's like, this has to be done in 3 hours, we're both on the call.
Yeah.
We're both on the call.
Need
and then
everybody.
feeling it out. And then
Mhm.
I'm texting either like, yeah, it's a go. I'm a drop off. You go the rest of the way. Or I'm like, it's a no for me. And she knows when I say it's a no for me, there's no budge in me.
Right.
It's a
And I don't
no.
even try. I don't even
It's
try.
like-
Mm-mm.
No, there's, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Because
just like,
it makes sense. It makes sense because a lot of times I'll be like, you're right. I don't need this. I don't need this.
yeah, and
Is it going to
sometimes
change
like,
my life overnight? No.
sometimes she gets so animated. She's like, and finally I'm like, Keisha, I'm like yelling into the phone, like to break her thought. She's like, what? I'm like, I'm gonna need you to take a breath right now.
Yeah.
Like I need you,
Let's chill.
something like, stop, chill. We need, and
It's
then
because
she's
I'm
like,
passionate.
yeah, she's
Oh, yeah.
passionate, and I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's passionate about a lot of things that I'm just like, what
Yeah,
else?
thank God she is, right?
You know, what else?
Right.
You know?
I mean,
And we interviewed a guest for one that's coming out later in the season, and she said it wasn't for me,
Yeah.
but it was for her.
right.
And I went in support of that. And that's okay. Like, you have to know, like, this isn't my thing.
Yeah, you can't lie about
But-
it either.
But I
know.
learned something new and I enjoy the company and conversation. It's just not for
Right.
me.
Yeah, and like sometimes I have to sit in on things because she's busy or has other
Mhm.
appointments. And when it comes down to where I'm like, listen, you need to talk to Keisha. She handles this part of business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here essentially on recon, right?
Right.
I'm here on a recon mission. I'll pass everything off to Keisha and she's going to make the decision. Like, I trust in that. We have come to the place where if it's a book heavy and that, generally will fall on me to make the decision.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know my capacity. I know what my editors can do.
Mm-hmm.
We already know the genres they work on. And Keisha's not really involved a lot on that day-to-day process of that. Not saying she doesn't know what's going on, because she does. She knows everything about the business.
Right.
But she doesn't have to come in and make that decision because I can make that decision.
Right.
Because I handle that part. And whereas when it comes to like the marketing and the business tools and SEO and setting up all that stuff, funnels and all. That's Keisha all day, every day.
Oh, I bet.
And I'm just like, I love your passion for what you're trying to give me, but you're talking to the wrong person.
Right.
And I told Keisha, she's like, why? I said, because I don't even understand what they're talking about. Not like, I love tech.
Yeah.
I love innovative products and all that, but
business operations is not.
I don't know everything.
Strong suit.
When operations is Keisha's strong suit. It's right. People like, we get on calls and they're like, yeah, we can tell. Like, we can tell where you stop and Keisha starts.
Right.
Because, and it's really like the animation that you're giving off in that time. You know, when it comes to operations, network, SEO, funnel, Keisha's eyes just light up and I'm just like,
I'm checked out.
All right, now. It's all you, girl. It's like Chariots of Fire, where they gotta pick up the bus like you're on a track team. Okay, here's your baton.
Exactly.
Go get them, girl.
Go for it. Good luck.
Yeah, here's the handoff. Go get them at the finish line. Like, make it happen. And I tell people, but I trust her enough to know that she's in it so much, she knows the right decision to make. Not saying that we still don't. Some things we get into that we shouldn't. But here's the thing. Sometimes we get into stuff that is very closely aligned to what we do. It's just probably not the time for us to get into it.
Right.
But we do. Then the conversation changes. It's like, okay, so we have this. We know it's in our long vision. It just came a little early, right? And we bit the bullet and took it. And so what we do is the conversation shifts and how can we integrate this now where we are and let it help us build to get there. Right, Keisha? Like, and we have those opportunities because sometimes, like your spirit knows the opportunity is now.
Oh, yeah.
But you're not at that capacity yet, but the opportunity is now. So if you're in tune with your spirit,
right,
then you're going to be like, yeah, this is a go.
Exactly.
Then we just going to have to pray about how in the world are we going to do this, because how's this going to happen? But faith is a big driver for us.
Yeah.
If you don't align with what we do, it's probably going to be a no.
Yeah, and that's fine.
It's a no, because you have to understand that everything you do when you own a business is a reflection of your business.
Absolutely.
Every post you make, every comment you do, every video you do, how you appear in public. I mean, we all have down days. All of that is a reflection of you and your business. When your business is that. And that's where people like, I don't engage in comments. I hardly comment on anything on social media. I'm not really on social media a lot anymore. And that's because it's a crazy playland.
It is. It's getting nuts.
And you can get so sucked into that.
Yeah.
And
it's
then
so political.
Best thing to do is not even read the comments.
Right. It's like, I'm not going to spend time in a comment war when I could be editing 25 pages in the time it took me to get in this little battle. That doesn't really mean anything because nobody really cares in the long run about what your comment is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
and the other part of that is people are so ugly, and there's enough ugly in this world. We don't need that. If you can't say anything constructive and positive, stay off of it.
Right.
And that's just my rule. If I can't say, I'm going to tell you this comment. And I told Christy and I had this long discussion about this last week. There's a girl called Michaela who has a cosmetic line. She announced that she's getting a divorce and she went off to Vegas. She took her friends with her to Vegas. Her friends got her so drunk and disgustingly left her in a bar while they were hoop hollering and carrying on. And they're not her friends. They're really not her friends. And I commented and I said, it's sad, because it was sad for me to see. I could recognize what was happening. And what's happening is she's self-destructing. They're drinking, carrying on, and having a great time when her life is shifting. And she's holding on for dear life. And they're pointing the camera at her, laughing because she's so drunk and can't talk.
Right.
And it was disgusting for me. And I said, this is a meltdown, and you guys are pointing and laughing, and she's supposed to be your friend. And I mean, I put it all out there, and then people started commenting underneath there, and I was like, get a life coach. You want to help yourself, get a life coach. Get somebody who is going to support you. Those are the things that you need for your mental health. You don't need people who's going to go take them out, buy them drinks, and have them point and laugh at you. That's not your friend.
Right.
Those are not your friends. And I commented that. And I did it because I was desperately sad for her to be in that situation. And when I commented, and I rarely do I ever comment like that for public, and they responded. And I was just like, what if that was my daughter? That's how I felt. What if it was my daughter and that's what was happening? And I would be like, Mama Bear, you know.
Oh, yeah. I've been going to Vegas.
Watch out. Yeah, because don't think I haven't chased my kids all over the world. And you could ask them. And that's a fact. So, you know, I'm a mama bear, and I wouldn't want that happening to my child or my children, or for them to participate in something that was her public life and her brand. And it was her brand that was she was representing. And it was so sad, so sad. And, you know, I was hurt over it for her. And I didn't offer my services. I didn't say anything like that. But I said, if you're going to do something, look for getting yourself some help and find a structured life coach that will help you through this situation. And they replied back, thank you so much for being thoughtful and kind. We appreciate that you had concern for her safety. And we are looking into getting her a health and life coach. And I was like, I did my job.
Yeah.
Good.
Because listen, let's be real. Nothing is ever erased from the internet, right?
No.
You may hit the delete button, but that doesn't mean it's deleted, right?
There's some deep
think
dives.
It's deleted, but it's not really deleted. And so you have to really, like, I tell Keisha all the time, I'm always thinking about how it affects the brand in our platform, because, you know, we run a lot in the mental health arena, you know, trauma to triumph, message. That's kind of the platform we run. And you really have to think, like, you don't want to be the one that deters your business.
No.
Or you make a foolish decision that affects someone you're bringing with you, right? Like, and the game changes when you have people that work under you, because you are a destiny carrier at that point. And you have to be able to discern, like, is this something for us, or is this something for someone attached to us? And you have to know that. So you have to know your people that are working with you. That's why we're so big on vetting people. Now, some of that has not worked out for us, and some has really kept us out of very sketchy situations. But you have to know all this. And you know when you can't know that is when you're in FOMO.
That's right.
Because you don't take the time to stop and think. You don't take the time to think about that. And so, you know, if it's you, it's a different ball game than you have 10 people that work with you within your business. And you're, you know, think about it. When a company goes bankrupt, it's not just the owner. It's everybody who works for them. Their whole lives are affected. And you don't want to be the one that affects the life of someone. And you know it. Keisha and I have talked about it. You instantly know it. You're like, oh, man, I don't want the conversation to come from that person.
Right.
It's my fault. And we've had to have those conversations where it happened. And so you got to, and that's why I'm a big proponent of stop and take some breaths. Make the disconnect from here to here. You know, a lot of times we make decisions with our hearts. And for me, that's not a good decision-making machine.
Yeah.
It's my gut
this is, you know, the brain.
Yeah.
You have to think things through, but you also have to work out of all your traumas, because sometimes your FOMO is a trauma trigger. You're like, oh, I'm back in it again. I didn't do it last time. I'm going to do it this time. Well, maybe you just weren't supposed to do it either time.
Right.
And you just did it for the wrong reasons. So, yeah, I think if people just take some time thinking, because listen, If they tell you have 5 minutes to make this decision, you probably shouldn't be making a decision.
Right.
Right.
If somebody has to pressure you to make a decision,
Yeah.
it's the wrong decision.
Generally, you have some hours to be,
Mhm.
because you're going to have to talk it over. You're going to have to think it through. You're
Mhm.
going to have to, run some scenarios. How's this look? I mean, you might have to call an attorney. You might have to call an accountant. There's people you need to talk to.
Right.
And you can't do that in 5 minutes to make a decision.
That's right.
And I tell Keisha, if it's only 5 minutes, there's a good chance I ain't making that decision. Right, Keisha? I tell her that all the
Yeah,
time.
we don't.
Makes
We
sense.
don't.
In
I'm not going
5
to be pressured
minutes-
to make a decision.
Right. I can't call my editors. I can't get the Humble Heartbeat team on the phone. I mean, they're all across the United States.
Right.
And sometimes they're doing international work and you're like, they're in Germany. Germany's ahead of the United States. How am I going to get a hold of them in the next 3.5 minutes? It's not like everybody's on speed dial and don't have lives and
Right.
have their own stuff they're doing, right? And so you have to think about that. So I tell her, if we don't have hours, I shy away from those things.
Smart.
Because for me, it's respect me enough to know that I'm going to need some time. Now, I'm not talking about 18 days.
Right.
For me, I have a 24-hour rule. I want 24 hours.
Mhm.
I need to talk it through the people, see how it's going to affect everything, talk it through with attorneys and that, and see what our liabilities are. Then I'll come back to the table for you.
Right.
And we know that. And when the conversation starts to go that way, Keisha and I are like, we're out. We're not making that kind of decision. It affects so many people in our
Mhm.
lives from our business. And, the thing is, we have personal relationships with a lot of people that work with us too. We spent years building that up with people. And one wrong decision in a FOMO moment can destroy all of everything you've worked so hard for,
Mhm.
grinded for, and blood, sweat, and tears, and all the pain you've done, and just having these people with you. It's all gone in an instant.
Right.
And then you know what you're left with? Regret.
Mm-hmm.
Regret. I would rather
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda if I only had done it differently.
Right.
When it should be, I need to think this through.
Yeah.
And I think if more people approached FOMO moments that way, we wouldn't be having a lot of FOMO conversations.
Right.
Everybody has loads they carry. Everybody has that. And most people don't know about it because you don't tell them about it.
Right.
You carry your own loads, but you certainly talk to your team about it when you're having to do that. And they know, sometimes it's overwhelming.
Mhm.
And then when you get sick, you got to have people in place that can do those things. That's why Keisha and I are big proponents of, we know what everyone on our team is good at.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't go in that area.
We stay in their lane. We stay in our lane.
This is what we tell them. This is your area.
Right.
This is where you excel. Yes, we want you to talk things over with us.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Have the conversation with us, what you want to see do. But this is your realm of expertise. Why are we going to come into there?
Right.
Like, we don't know what. I mean, we know enough to be in the room.
Right.
But we don't know what goes behind putting all this together. And all of the podcast is a great example.
Mhm.
We don't know what any of those buttons are. You're like, hey, push this blue button. And I'm like, well, what happens after I push the blue button? And I sit here for 30 minutes like, I don't know what happens after I push this blue button. And you come back and you're like, we're good. We can go to bed now. I was like, okay. But that's what you're good at. And that's the thing. So stay out of FOMO. Get people with you on your journey that excel at the things you do not, because at some point you have to drop off and just let them take it the rest of the way.
Right.
Just think of the track teams where they give the little batons off. There's 4 people on that team. They all excel at the distance that they're running in the spot that they're running, because that's where they excel.
Right.
Have people like that can do that. And then guess what? You don't find yourself in a lot of FOMO moments because you're thinking through the opportunity before you ever get the chance to go sit on the seat. Wouldn't you agree, Keisha?
Oh, absolutely.
Right. So no FOMO. There is no more fear of missing out. It's how am I going to make decisions that better me as a person individually and a better business partner? And how does it align with my business? So here's what I want from you in the comments. Do you have FOMO moments? what was one of the worst FOMO moments and how do you handle FOMO now? So go ahead and Go ahead and comment. Don't forget to like and tag and share. And hey, you don't want to miss any conversation, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and stay uncharted until we see you next episode.
Hey, this is Keisha. It's important that you leave your comments because we'd love to know about it. We'd also like for you to subscribe, like, share, and tag. See you next time.
Hi, this is Chrissy. Thanks so much for watching our episode today.